Welcome students. Today we are going to discuss about body planes, tissues, molecules of cell, cell membranes and cell proteins. First of all, the body planes. An anatomical plane is a hypothetical plane used to transect the body in order to describe the location of structures or the direction of movements. There are three basic reference planes used in anatomy: the coronal plane, the transverse plane and the sagittal plane. First, the coronal plane. A coronal or frontal plane divides the body into dorsal and ventral portions, that is, back and front or posterior and anterior. On the other hand, a transverse plane, also known as an axial plane or cross section, divides the body into cranial and caudal portions, that is, head and tail. A sagittal plane, on the other hand, divides the body into sinister and dexter portions, that is, left and right. Now coming to the second part of the topic, that is the tissues. A tissue is made up of a group of cells that usually look similar to one another and come from the same region in a developing embryo. The group of cells that make up a tissue have physiological functions that work together in a coordinated way to support specific functions. There are four kinds of tissues based on differences in their anatomy and function. Number one is the epithelial tissue, number second is the connective tissue, third is the muscle tissue and fourth one is the nervous tissue. Number first is the epithelial tissue. It is made of layers of cells that are joined together and may cover the surface of the body, that is epidermis of skin, line spaces in the body, that is the lining of the abdominal cavity, hollow structures, that is the lining of blood vessels, or form glands, that is sweat glands. Epithelial tissue can be classified by: number first is by shape. According to shape, it is of three types. Number first is squamous, it is flat and scale-like. Number second is cuboidal, it is as tall as it is wide. Number third is columnar, it is as tall and column-shaped. Number second is by cell arrangement. According to cell arrangement, it is of two types. Number first is a simple epithelium. It is made of single layer of cells and is usually for absorption and filtration. Number second is the stratified epithelium. It is made of stacked up cell layers and gives protection from abrasion. Now, number second is the connective tissue. It is usually made of cells and extracellular fibers that hold structures together, protect them, store energy or produce blood. Now the kinds of connective tissue. Number first is the loose connective tissue. It is of three types. Number first is the areolar connective tissue. It serves as cushion around organs. Number second is adipose tissue. It serves as storehouse for nutrients. Number third is reticular connective tissue. It serves as internal supporting framework of some organs. Number second is the dense connective tissue. It is also of two types. Number first is dense regular connective tissue. It consists of tendons, ligaments and irregularly arranged bundles packed with fibers for strength in one direction. Number second is the dense irregular connective tissue. It consists of skin, organ capsules, irregularly arranged bundles packed with fibers for strength in all directions. Besides this, there are also special types of connective tissue. Number first is the cartilage. It provides strength with flexibility while resisting wear, that is epiglottis, external air or larynx. Number second is bone. It provides framework and strength for body, allows movement, stores calcium and contains blood forming cells. Number third is blood. It transports oxygen, carbon dioxide and nutrients around the body, and it is also involved in immune response. Number third type of tissue is muscular tissue. It is made of cells that are organized to shorten and produce force when they contract. There are three types of muscle tissue. Number first is smooth muscle. It is found in organ walls and blood vessel walls. Number second is the skeletal muscle. It is found in large body muscles and attached to bones for movement. And number third is cardiac muscle. It is found in heart wall. Now the fourth type of tissue is the nervous tissue. It is made of neurons and accessory cells. Neurons are the cells that carry information in the form of electric action potentials. Nervous tissue forms the nervous system, which is responsible for coordinating the activities and movements of your body through its network of nerves. Nervous tissue consists of two kinds of nerve cells. Number first are the neurons. Neurons are the basic structural units of the nervous system. Number second is the neuroglia or glial cells, which provide support functions for the neurons. Now coming to the third part of the topic, that is the molecules of cell. Compounds containing carbon are called organic compounds. Molecules such as methane that are only composed of carbon and hydrogen are called hydrocarbons. Now the functional groups. The unique properties of an organic compound depend not only on its carbon skeleton but also on certain groups of atoms that are attached to the skeleton. These assemblages of atoms are called functional groups. Various types of functional groups are: number first is the hydroxyl group. Consists of hydrogen atom bonded to an oxygen atom. Number second is the carbonyl group. It is carbon atom linked by a double bond to an oxygen atom. For example, aldehyde and ketone. Number third is the carboxyl group. Consists of an oxygen atom double bonded to a carbon atom that is also bonded to a hydroxyl group. Compounds containing a carboxyl group are called carboxylic acids. Number fourth is the amino group. It is composed of a nitrogen atom bonded to two hydrogen atoms. Organic compounds with an amino group are called amines. And last is the phosphate group. It consists of a phosphorus atom bonded to four oxygen atoms. Now the types of organic molecules. Now first of all, the carbohydrates. The name carbohydrate refers to a class of molecules that range from small sugar molecules to long polymers of sugar monomers. So carbohydrates are formed from sugar monomers. It consists of, number first, monosaccharides, that is the simple sugars. Monosaccharides generally have molecular formula that are some multiple of CH2O. For example, C6H12O6, that is the glucose. Number second is the disaccharides. Cells construct disaccharides or double sugars from two monosaccharides. For example, sucrose from two monomers, that is glucose and fructose. Number three is the polysaccharides. Polysaccharides are polymers of a few hundred to few thousand monosaccharides linked together by dehydration synthesis. For example, cellulose. Number second is the lipids. Lipids are diverse compounds that consist mainly of carbon and hydrogen atoms linked by non-polar covalent bonds. Since they are mostly non-polar, lipid molecules do not interact with water molecules which are polar. They are said to be hydrophobic, that is, they are water-faring. Now the third, proteins. A protein is a biological polymer constructed from amino acid monomers. There are 7 major classes of proteins. Number first is the structural protein. Number second, contractile proteins. Number third, storage proteins. Number 4, defense proteins. 5th, transport proteins. 6th, signal proteins. And the last, enzyme. An enzyme is a protein that serves as a chemical catalyst, that is, an agent that changes rate of chemical reaction without being changed into a different molecule in the process. Now the last one, that is the nucleic acids. There are 2 types of nucleic acids. Number 1 is the deoxyribonucleic acid, that is the DNA, and number 2 is the ribonucleic acid, that is RNA. The monomers that make up nucleic acids are nucleotides. Each nucleotide monomer has 3 parts. Number first, a 5-carbon sugar DNA has the sugar deoxyribose, while as RNA has the sugar ribose. Number second, linked to one end of the sugar is a functional group called a phosphate group. And number third, linked to the other end of the sugar is one of a member of chemical unit that contains nitrogen called nitrogenous bases. DNA has nitrogenous bases, namely adenine, thymine, cytosine and guanine. On the other hand, RNA has adenine, guanine, cytosine and uracil instead of thymine. The phosphate group of one nucleotide bonds to the sugar of the next nucleotide. Now coming to the last part of my topic, that is the cell membrane and the cell proteins. The cell membrane, also called as the plasma membrane, is a thin semi-permeable membrane that surrounds the cytoplasm of a cell. Its function is to protect the integrity of the interior of the cell. The cell membrane is primarily composed of a mixture of proteins and lipids. While lipids help to give membrane their flexibility, proteins monitor and maintain the cell's chemical climate and assist in transfer of molecules across the membrane. Now, the cell membrane lipids. Phospholipids form a lipid bilayer in which they are hydrophilic, that means which are attracted to water head areas, spontaneously arranged to face the aqueous cytosol and the extracellular fluid, while their hydrophobic tail areas face away from the cytosol and extracellular fluid. Cholesterol molecules help to keep cell membranes from becoming stiff. Cholesterol is not found in the membranes of plant cells. Glycolipids are located on cell membrane surfaces and have a carbohydrate sugar chain attached to them. Now, the cell membrane proteins. There are two types of proteins in the cell membrane. Number first is the peripheral proteins and number second is the integral proteins. As the name suggests, integral proteins are permanently connected to the membrane. Some integral proteins cross the membrane and act as pathways for ions and molecules. Integral proteins are the hard workers of the cell membrane. Some of the ion movement may not require work, that is the passive transport, but other processes require a lot of energy and pumping action, that is the active transport. Peripheral proteins are not bounded as strongly to the membrane. They may just sit on the surface of the membrane anchored with a few hydrogen bonds. Glycoproteins have a carbohydrate chain attached to them. They are embedded in the cell membrane and help in cell-to-cell communications and molecule transport across the membrane. Now, the transport across the cell membrane. The selective permeability of biological membranes to small molecules allows the cells to control and maintain its internal composition. Only small uncharged molecules can diffuse freely through phospholipid bilayer. Small non-polar molecules such as oxygen and carbon dioxide are soluble in the lipid bilayer and therefore can readily cross across the cell membrane by diffusion. Although ions and most polar molecules cannot diffuse across a lipid bilayer, many such molecules such as glucose are able to cross the cell membrane. These molecules pass across the membrane via the action of specific transmembrane proteins which act as transporters. They contain multiple membrane spanning regions that form a passage through the lipid bilayer, allowing polar or charged molecules to cross the membrane. There are two general classes of membrane transport proteins. Number first is the channel protein. Channel proteins form open pores through the membrane, allowing the free passage of any molecule of the appropriate size. Ion channels, for example, allow the passage of inorganic ions such as sodium, potassium, calcium and chlorine across the plasma membrane. In contrast to channel proteins, carrier proteins selectively bind and transport specific molecules such as glucose. It binds specific molecules and then undergo conformational changes that open channels through which the molecule to be transported can pass across the membrane and released on the other side. Molecules transported by either channel or carrier protein cross membranes in an energetically favorable direction as determined by concentration and electrochemical gradients, a process which is known as passive transport. In case of active transport, molecules can be transported in an energetically unfavorable direction across a membrane. For example, against a concentration gradient, if their transport in that direction is coupled to ATP hydrolysis as a source of energy. With this, we conclude our lecture on the basics of cell biology. Thank you for listening.